Hello. So. Good morning. Cold morning. Now I look tired. I'm very tired. I just come back from Burnley yesterday. Got home at 2:30 in the morning, maybe 1:30 in the morning, one of the two. It is now 7 a.m. and I'm up and ready to sort of dissect this performance sort of thing. Look, if you watch the highlights, I've sat there and watched the highlights this morning. I'm not even gonna talk about the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper is an obvious target for criticism. He should have caught the first one, although when you look at the replay, it shouldn't have been a corner, but that's by the by because they had a goal ruled out later on in the game that should have been kept in. VAR ruled one out. This game could have been 5-0. It probably should have been 5-0, 5-0, 6-0. When you look at the Newcastle performance of last week, it should have been probably 5-0, at least 5-2. And when I look at the performance now, the players, they're not playing. Whether they're not playing, a lot of people are saying, they're not playing for the manager. I don't know whether they're playing for the manager or not. When I sit down there and think about it now, I'm not sure whether they're not playing for the manager or they're just not playing for themselves. But this is 4 or 5 managers now. This is Allardyce, Bilic, Moyes, now Pellegrini, where the football, there's no identity in the football. Allardyce probably had a bit of identity, but he was always being undermined by the board. Where, we had one good season in all them years, in the last 5-6 years. Now, I'm not saying that West Ham have got a God-given right to have good seasons every season or be challenging for the top 6. You've got to work hard. And that is something that I haven't seen in a West Ham team for the last 3 or 4 years. Ever since we moved, especially, we don't work hard. We're not a hard-working team. And I've been a West Ham fan for, I'm 36 years old. I've been a West Ham fan since I come out of the womb. And my dad always says to me that, he's always said this for years. He goes, you'll get a couple of seasons of greatness and fantastic stuff. Most of the time it'd be mediocre. And he's always said to me, this is one thing he's always said to me, the club is like a holiday camp in terms of work rate, in terms of professionalism, in terms of everything. People come to West Ham to chill out, basically. They're not expected to do much. The fans don't expect much from them. And they treat it as such. And it goes back from, before Allardyce to Redknapp, to Pardew, to all sorts of things. And when you look at the fundamental part in the last 10 years about what's gone wrong, like what has happened in the last 10 years that have given us so many bad seasons and one relatively good season. And I'm not going to just blame the owners. I don't think it's just the owners. I think they've got a big part to deal with it. It's they've all got the same sort of philosophies and different philosophies, but they've all got the same problem. And it's the fact that the players are not working hard. The players are not putting 100% commitment into the club. And what is it? What is it that does it? And when you look through the trend, it's because from the very top of this club, from the very top, there is a distinct lack of professionalism. There's a distinct lack of urgency. There's a distinct lack of ambition. And if that starts at the top of the very club and it filters all the way through, it eventually filters through to the manager. Well, if they don't give a fuck, I don't give a fuck what the manager will be thinking. And if it then filters then down to the players, Well, you know, they're not expecting anything of us. You know, why work hard for my money? I get paid the same money whether I go and give 110% and leave my body on the line and, you know, spend a lot of time injured or you know, risk further injury in my career, or do I stroll around for 20 minutes? Nobody's expecting. There'll be a couple of fans moaning at the end of the season, but the manager and you know, the board, you know, you're not going to get any extra credit for doing that. They're not expecting to win trophies. They're not expecting to even win games most of the time. So what do you do as a player? And this is the modern day player, is that they think, well, I'll take the easy option. I'm only going to be here. You know, I'm not committed to this club. You know, there's not many Mark Nobles in the club. There's not many people in the starting lineup. You could probably count on the fingers of one hand how many people will actually be there in 3 or 4 years' time. Haller won't be there. Anderson won't be there. Diop won't be there. And that is a worrying thing. And when it's coming from the top, when this message is coming from the top, that, you know, a distinct lack of professionalism, they've been owned this club for 10 years. And this year is the only year that they've shut their mouths and let people get on with it. This year, maybe last year. They've been sticking their oar in transfers. They've been sticking their oar in social media. They've been leaking news and things like that. And it's only the past year and a half that they've actually stopped doing that. But it hasn't actually stopped. And I think, personally, the club needs a complete overhaul from top to bottom. I want the chairman to sell the club. I think they've got a year and a half maximum left in it. They're still trying to get by with a very minimum. I know they've spent a lot of money last year. It was on top of a near revolution at West Ham. They've sort of spent 25 million this year. They've regained a lot in wages. They're doing the very bare minimum to get by. Couple of marquee signings to appease us. And I was one that was sort of mugged off this year because we bought some good quality players, and we've got, I believe that Haller's a quality player. I believe that Anderson's a quality player. I believe that Yarmolenko's a quality player. But I do believe Diop's got a quality player. I don't believe the manager, excuse me, I don't believe the manager is the right man. We picked him from, and don't get me wrong, I've said in the past I think he is the right man, and we've played some good football under him, but we picked him from the obscurity of China. That's a retirement place. That's where you go. He's 66 years old. He's not going to, you know, he's not a manager for the long term. 66 years old, and we picked him from a retirement village in China for a lot of money. But when you've got people at the club, and this is what I'm saying about it filtering down, he knows if he gets a sack, he's going to get his full contract's worth of money. It doesn't matter to him. He's not going to quit. But when you've got people at the top of the club, and not only at the top, but, you know, chairman, vice chairman, media officers, people within the club that are leaking information left, right and centre. You look at Claret and Hugh this week, for instance. There is a email being sent to Claret and Hugh by a source in the club who's leaking information. You know, he never says who it is, so it's speculation. A lot of people reckon it comes from the very top, but more than likely, you know, with these in the knows, they come from people that are in and around the changing room. A kit man, you know, a first team coach, you know, maybe a fringe player, maybe a first team player. But there are people leaking information, and one of the emails that they got this week was an email from someone within the club, and we all know, we can all see, we're not stupid, that people like Ayeti and you know, Roberto and things like that haven't worked out. Fornells, there was the other one, sorry. They haven't worked out. But when you've got someone within the club sending an email to an independent supporters website saying, yeah, we basically think they're shit. We need to see more from them. What message does that send down the line? What message does that send? Because there is a distinct lack of professionalism. They don't say it in the media themselves. They use these people as a conduit. You're getting team news leaked out 2-3 hours before the games. It's not good. Regardless of what you think, it's not good at all. And I believe that the way forward for this club is a complete overhaul. It's rotten from within. And, you know, when something's rotten within, like a tooth, when you've got the root of a tooth that is rotten within, you can keep on putting veneers on it and you know, trying to dress up the tooth as much as you can, but eventually it'll rot from the inside out. And that is what this club is. It's the root of the tooth is rotten. And we keep on putting new covers on it and trying to, you know, going to the dentist and putting, you know, cleaning up the tooth and all that sort of thing so it doesn't look so bad. But eventually that rot will come through and destroy it from within. And that is what we've got at this club. I think the club needs a complete overhaul, from media officers to you know, I'm not going to pick on first team coaches and that, but at least they've got to go and find where the leaks are coming from and stop people like, what benefit is it? We can all see with our eyes, and fans will have their say. There is no need for a top source in the club because, you know, a player might be able to deal with criticism from fans. A player might be able to turn around and say, you know what, he's a fan. You know, my manager knows I'm doing well. You know, people within the club know I'm doing well, or trying my hardest, blah, 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 blah. But when you've got sources within the club leaking it to club websites and they're saying, well, you know, I'm not happy with him and we're not happy with them and we've told them privately, and they're making that information public, it helps nobody. And it's not just the players that are affected, but other players will look at that as well and just say, well, you know, you look at people like Snodgrass, who, you know, is an honest enough player and a credit to himself because he has come back and come back from comments like that from the chairman. But then you look at Jose Font, who is doing very well in France at the moment, who never came back from them comments. He was injured at the time, comments come out, and he must have thought, well, fuck this, like, what's the point? When the top brass are slagging you off in public, and now they've stopped doing it in public, they're now passing it on to other forums. They need to get these people out of the club. They need to find the source of these leaks, like, and take it very seriously. But they don't take it so seriously, because I know for a fact that, and this ain't a slight on these people, like ex-employee who gets information and all that sort of stuff. Sean Whetstone and whatever, you know my feelings on it. I like X a lot. I'll see him at his event next week. But the constant leaks is not doing anyone any favours. And it sends a message down from within, is that, well, they're not taking it seriously up there. Why should we take it seriously? They're not worried about making us look silly. There's an old saying in my family: if you let the clowns take control, don't be surprised when your business becomes a circus. And that's what West Ham is like. And there's a famous quote from Mark Noble a couple of years ago saying that these are not, it's not run like a circus anymore. I disagree. It's a totally unprofessional club, and from the very top, and it has been for it has been since I've known it, to be quite honest with you, but you know, in this modern day and era, it gets showed more in this modern game, because there are people that are now, you know, employing all these different people that are taking all these different things very seriously. There's a lot of money in the game, and it's like my club is like a millionaire's boy club.